Hey everyone, welcome back. Happy Friday to you all, and thanks so much for coming in to watch this. I was actually debating whether or not I want to do a live stream tonight. There's not much going on. The only news story that we do have is on Bitfarms. That's why I titled the thumbnail Bitfarms and nothing else, because there's not really much going on. We'll take a look at what happened with Bitcoin today, the miners, Bitfarms news, and we'll take a look at how the miners have performed here in the last month, basically, since it's the last day of the month. And that's it. That's all I got for you guys. I do apologize, but there's just not much happening here. We've had a lot of stuff happening in the past 4 days, so we talked about all that. And yeah, I mean, it should be pretty short and sweet, so let's get into it here. Right now, just not financial advice as always, for entertainment only. Do your own research, full disclosure below that. And if you guys are inclined, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously. And let's take a look at what we got going on here with Bitcoin. And where am I at here? Why is this not popping up the right way? Sorry, bear with me. Got to rearrange some windows. Okay, here we go. So here's what we got. Bitcoin finished out the month of January in the green. We hit a new all-time high in Bitcoin in January as well, 109,358, which was nice. Beat the previous all-time high, which was 108,388. That was in December. So we had a nice little incremental new all-time high there. Bitcoin was up 9.7% on the month here right now, as it is, and we're starting out the new month in the red a little bit. I mean, we're just down 0.2% right now on going into Saturdays, I guess, over the weekend. I'm not expecting much to happen over the weekend here. Historically, February has been a great month for us. We'll see if that's going to be the case here for February again. The miners were down for the most part today. They were up in the morning a little bit towards the middle of the day. Cypher had a great day. MicroStrategy was down another day. The stocks were down as well. I think it was just the end of the month here. People were just taking some profits. I think we might have had some expiry options as well on Bitcoin. So it is what it is. We were down on today, right? On all these guys here, we can see that on today, yeah, I mean, Bitcoin was down just a little bit. Today was down 2.23%. Some miners were up, some miners were down, but overall wasn't too bad. Right, MicroStrategy was down 1.56%. Bitfarms was down 3%. BitTier was up almost 2%. Cypher had a nice day today. After the news came out yesterday, they got $15 million from SoftBank there, right? They got shares and basically bought into the company, so they got $15 million worth of that. Cleanspark was down 4.8, almost 5%. CORZ was up just slightly, 0.08%. Hive was up, or down, sorry, almost 5% as well. Hut8 was up just barely, 0.88%. IREN was down almost 0.75%. Mara was down 4.3%. Riot was down just barely 0.17%. Wolf was down almost 4.8% there. Smaller miners were also mixed a little bit here. DMG was actually the one that did the best out of the small miners, up being 8.3%. And that is basically it. The ETFs were down except for WGMI was up just a little bit here, 0.22%. But if we look at the monthly chart on these guys here, let's take a look at that really quick. On the miners, the big miners at least, Bitfarms was actually down in the month here a little bit. It was down 2.68% on the month here, looks like. BitTier was down quite a bit here. It was down 14.54% on the month. Cypher was actually up on the month here. I think a lot of that was attributable to what happened today. Otherwise, it would have been probably down. But it was up 23% on the day. Cleanspark was also up in the month. It was up 13.36%, which was nice. That's nice to see. CORZ was down quite a bit. It was down 12.67%. Hive was pretty much flat. It was up just a little bit, 2.81%. Hut8 was up a little bit as well. It was up 5.86%. IREN here was up just a little bit as well, 4.07%. Mara was up 9.36%, so that was kind of nice there. Riot was up just a little bit here. Well, not a little bit. It was up 16% on the month, so it had a pretty good month there. And Wolf was down 15.72%. A lot of these guys probably would have been up if it was not for the DeepSeek news and fear and FUD and everything else that came out on Monday. If it wasn't for that, I think a lot more of these miners would have been actually in the green here for the month of January. So we'll see where that takes us into February. Coming Monday, we'll get some updates from the miners as well, as always. And where do we end up? We probably won't have the latest data on the network hash rate here for the end of the month. We'll be like a day behind, I think, on it. This is on the 7-day average here. We are at, if we can get to it, from yesterday, we were at 781 exahash on that one. On the 30-day average, we were up just a little bit here to 784 exahash. So, I mean, we're trading sideways here on the exahash. Not much being installed right now, it looks like, on it. It seems like a lot of people have already installed what they had to install, probably in preparation for the bull run here in Bitcoin. But we still have some miners that are going to be installing. We have, obviously, Cleanspark, IREN still getting things installed, Hive, Bitfarms, not sure where Mara is going to. Riot's got a little bit left. And then who else do we have there? Cypher's going to be, I think, more into the second half as well, along with Bitdeer, Bitdeer as well in the second half of the year. So I'm waiting for all these announcements from the miners as far as what will they be actually, what will their targets be for the end of the year. That's kind of what I'm looking for there. All right, so that's that. Bitcoin, like I said, is about 9.3% here in, actually 9.29% here in January. On February, it's saying that it's already up 0.03%. That maybe things have changed here in the last couple of minutes on that one or not. This was actually before I started the recording, so I think that's maybe why. On it. And the only real story that we do have here is on Bitfarms. So Bitfarms engages strategic partners to develop HPC AI business. There's not much details in here other than that today they announced it has engaged 2 expert consultants in HPC strategy and artificial intelligence, Appleby Strategy Group, ASG, and Worldwide Technology, WWT, to conduct comprehensive feasibility analysis on all its North American sites and advise on its global HPC AI strategy. In parallel, ASG and WWT will help build accelerate sales and development strategies and market the sites on behalf of Bitfarms to potential customers. Okay, so they're like intermediary, third party, whatever you want to call it. They are there to help aid in this process, I guess. And we have seen similar things from Riot as well, right? But here's a quote from Ben Gagnon. Bitfarms is committed to maximizing the utility and value of our 1.2 gigawatt North American portfolio. ASG and WWT will draw upon their substantial expertise to evaluate our sites for HPC AI. Based on active discussions over the past several months with potential HPC AI partners and customers, we are confident that our North American portfolio pipeline, particularly sites located on the PJM grid, is strongly suited for HPC AI. That might be the case, right? We'll have to wait and see on that. The contracts associated with HPC AI customers provide long-term steady cash flows and earnings streams, while our Bitcoin mining operations will continue to monetize Bitcoin flexibility or flexible upside potential, creating a powerful and resilient portfolio that will generate long-term value for our shareholders. Well, that's what we're all hoping for. The big question there is, like with anybody like Bitfarms or IREN or Cypher or anybody else that's looking for HPC AI customers or even Riot, is what kind of customers do they actually get there? What is the timeline to build that out? What is the revenue going to be there? And basically, for how many months, years will they get a contract in place? That's the big question there on these guys. And like I've talked about before, and I'm probably talking till I'm going to be blue in my face on this, is we've seen Core with CoreWeave get a lot, right? That's a fantastic deal. Nobody has been able to match that yet. Then you have Bit Digital. They have smaller customers, but they're for a couple of years, which is working out great for them. They're not being valued on it. You also have Wolf here that got a nice deal as well. It's potentially long-term deal. The revenues are much smaller, though, from what CoreWeave or Core Scientific got from CoreWeave, but it's still a nice deal there, right? So those are the only ones that we have really seen here that have, substantial HPCI business there. Everybody else has some little things, IREN, Hive, Hut 8. They all have little deals that generate, $1 million and maybe $1 million a month. If that, some are less than that, some might be a little bit more than that, but roughly right around there. So it's not that substantial yet. Their revenues from Bitcoin mining are much, much higher there, okay? So I still own quite a bit of shares of Bitfarms. I'm going to hold on to them. We'll see what they provide for us as far as updates for January production. Come Monday, I'm guessing they're going to probably release that Monday. They're usually the first ones to do that. So we will see what they provide there. And based on that, I'll reevaluate them as far as how they're doing. I'd like to see some growth in hash rate. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that one. I'm willing to give them a chance here. I'm willing to give Ben a chance. They have, as you guys know, not met their targets for the end of the year here in 2024. They pushed those out They've sold off a site in Paraguay to Hive, which I'm okay with because they're targeting and concentrating more on the United States, which is great. We need to see them close on Stronghold acquisition as well in this first quarter. We need to see them grow their hash rate to the 21 exahash by the end of this first half of the year, and continue to have, as they have in the past, really good operations. So we will monitor this one very, very closely as always. But that's all I got for you guys. And this is it. Like I said, I spent quite a bit of time searching for some good news as far as Bitcoin adoption, things like that, on X and other places as well today. I haven't been able to find it. I think today is just Friday, and it's a little light on news day today. So we'll see. But nonetheless, I'm still very, very bullish on the miners and Bitcoin going forward. I think the best is yet to come for us, but time will tell. All right, let's get into the Q&A side of things here, see if you have any questions, and we'll call it a day, so it should be a pretty easy stream. Like I said, I was debating whether or not to do this because there's not much going on here. Let me go over to the Q&A side of things here. If you guys could preface your questions with a Q, and I'm going to roll up a little bit here on the comments here. Okay, we don't have a lot of comments, which is kind of nice, so we'll get through this relatively quickly. Alrighty, here Ash says, question, Seb, you're amazing with your research. I ended up betting big on Bitfarms 7 months ago. Would you keep holding Bitfarms or switch to another miner? That's what I'm waiting for on Monday. I want to see what they actually installed as far as hash rate in January. I'd like to see some growth there. If we get at least, I'd like to see at least probably like half a exahash to a exahash of growth there. That would be a good sign for me. If we don't have any growth here in January, which we didn't have any growth in December as well, I'm going to start really thinking about whether or not I want to hold that. I may sell a portion of it and get into some of the other miners that are actually, executing, growing, and things like that. So, but I appreciate the nice comment there. Let's see. Do you think that NVIDIA will look into miners for cheap electricity so they can lower their costs? Thanks. Why would NVIDIA look into the miners for cheap electricity? I don't think they're doing anything HPC AI, are they? They're not getting into AI. They're just the manufacturer of GPUs and that are used for AI and things like that. But I don't know why they would be looking into those guys. I could be missing something there. All right, let's see here. has a question. Hi, Seb. Trump tariffs effective February 1st, so tomorrow, basically impact on BTC and miners. Very little, marginal impact. Most of the machines that they do get are from like Singapore, other places like that, depending where they're manufactured, so that's not a big deal there. Yeah, I just don't see any impact really on those things. Okay. See, Neville says there are definitely better options than Bitfarms at the moment. Don't fall for the low prices. Yeah, I think I would actually agree with you here. As much as it saddens me to say it, I would agree with you. I actually thought last year with their growth targets and everything else for the end of the year, I thought that one was going to be a good bet. Didn't plan out that way. So I think there might be other ones that might be better. But we'll see what they do for January, right? So that'll be a good thing to see. All right. Let's see. Seb, I don't think the BTC is where it needs to be for the quarterly reports to wow the market. Where do you see the miners going by end of month, I think, for the February? I think they're going to go higher, mainly because of their quarterly results for Q4, which are going to be, for the most part, a lot of these guys should have good reports. The ones that have a HODL position especially, because of that, I mean, we saw the price of Bitcoin here. Let's go to that chart here. On Bitcoin here, right? Let's take a look at it here. Where's Bitcoin? There it is. So if you look at Bitcoin here, this was September. September, we started, let's see, open was 70,000, right? So October. We started at 70,000 and we got up to, well, we closed at 93,000. That's $23,000 basically in appreciation in Bitcoin at that point, or wherever we closed at it. I mean, let's see if we can go to daily maybe. That might be a little bit better to see exactly where we finished out. So that's December 13th, 14th, 18th, 19th, January. Where do you finish out at? 30th, 31st. We finished out at 93,000. Okay. So we were up about, what, 23,000 or something like that on the valuation of Bitcoin. So the HODL position that they had at the beginning of the quarter to where it ended up in the end of the quarter, that's going to be a nice nice revaluation, I guess, on the Bitcoin, and then that goes down to their bottom line as well, which then goes to their EPS as well. So a lot of these guys should have a pretty good EPS number coming out in February when they report on the Q4 results. So I would expect things to look much better, right? In the past couple of months, last couple of quarters, the miners have been beaten down because of the halving event, which cut their revenue in half overnight. That's not a pleasant feeling or a great way to start out, but it always happens with the halving events. The miners get beaten to a pulp basically because of that, and then eventually they start going back up because of the revenues and Bitcoin price going up. That should help out. Now it all also depends on where Bitcoin goes in February. February historically has been a pretty good month for us. You can see it here. We've had only 2 months that were in the red here out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 out of 12. So high percentage likelihood that February is going to be a good month for us, unless it's not. But based on historical data, it looks like it's going to be a good month for us. That should bode well as well for the miners that have nice EPS for the quarterly results. Okay, that's kind of where my thought process is on this, kind of where my head is on it. We'll see if that plays out that way. All right. Let's see. Once the AI FUD cools off, will that push the price course up? Oh yeah. And I think that's been kind of. I've been reading quite a few stories and watching podcasts and things like that on DeepSeek, as far as what that entailed. So it looks like DeepSeek was actually possibly, they call it distillation, which basically they were stealing from OpenAI data. And then the cost to produce that model was probably much higher than the 6 million reported. The 6 million was probably just to go from the version 3 to the R1 that they reported. That was the 6 million cost for that, but it does not include all the costs that they probably should have reported, as far as what GPUs they had, how much did that cost them, and the time to build out the model, everything else, right? So that was very, I think, that's what I'm looking for. Not correct, not the right way to do it. It was very coy of them to put it out that way. Okay, so I do believe that CORZ, the other guys as well, will rebound because of that going forward. But it's going to take a little time, I think. Let's see. Devil says, I heard the tariffs will negatively impact the markets, and you know how those shorts love to take advantage of bad news. Yeah, they've been doing well with each shred of it. It's a possibility, right? What is it? Mexico and Canada are getting 25%. China's getting 10% there. I mean, we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But for the miners, it shouldn't be anything major for them. Maybe the whole market, the mentality around the markets, the economy, and everything else might take a hit on that. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Let's see, pull this one up here. Question, Bitfarms engages strategic partners to develop HPCI business. Is it similar to what Riot did with, yeah, that's basically the same thing. They're doing the same thing as them. I think Cypher has something in there like that as well. I'm trying to think if anybody else has it in there. TerraWolf, I thought had something like that as well, but maybe they were going directly. So it's par for the course there. They all do it if they're getting to HPCI. All right. See, question, when will BTC miners start using FSB rules? They've been using it for like the past year already. They started using it since Q4 of 2023, I believe, some of these guys. So they've been using it already. And you can see it in the results when you look back. Let's see here. If Stronghold couldn't make work, why does Bitfarms think they can? They could not make Paraguay work, sold to Hive. I doubt they can make it work. If Ben is so experienced, he could not make it work. Very good question there. I think Paraguay was, what do you call it? Not a spear child, but there's a term for it. It was basically headed by the previous, board members there. Right, they were based in South America, I believe. So they were spearheading. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Spearheading that move towards Argentina or Paraguay. And Ben was the chief mining officer, yes, but he still had to follow what the top down was telling him, right? That they're moving into these areas that they had to build out. And so then he had to basically figure out which miners he wanted in there and things like that, okay? Now with Ben at the helm here, they're moving more so into the United States, which I think is a good thing. So the prior decision probably wasn't the best decision there, but they did do it, and he was making it try. I was trying to make it work as best as he could. I'm trying to see what else is there. Work to Hive. I doubt they can make it work. Stronghold. Stronghold also, I think the problem with Stronghold was scale. They had what, 4, maybe 6 exahash of machines there. Some of it was also hosted there. That makes it tough. You really need to have scale and something like that to make it work. And with Bitfarms getting to possibly 21 exahash by the end of the first half, they couldn't make it work. And then I think Ben also stated in previous episodes, not in mine, but in McNally Money episodes and with Anthony, he stated that they've been working with some of the older or the actual, I don't know what you call it, the engineers there that actually built the site there, the power generation plant there, to see if there's any ways that they can improve on things and things like that. And they seem to think that they can do that. So we'll see. I'm willing to give them the benefit of doubt on that one. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. That's why I said I want to see how they did in January, how they continue to do going forward as well. We'll have to wait and see. But if it's not a good month for January, like I said, I may sell a portion of my shares there. Let's see. Which one would you sell or which one would you buy right now? Cleanspark or IREN? That's a tough one. I believe Cleanspark, because of a HODL position, they will have a better EPS than IREN will have. But that's really a no-brainer there for me. So I think Cleanspark might be the better one to go. But if IREN gets a HPCI deal, that might be the catalyst that drives that stock up, right? I keep saying all the time that it's just you're one good news story away from having a stock rocket like we saw with Cypher. Put out a press release yesterday that's SoftBank was investing in them, $50 million, and the stock went up 23, 24%, whatever it was. So that's all it takes. All right. Hi, Seb. Do you believe Bitcoin can go to 80, 90,000 in the short term before it goes up again? It's possible. I'm not saying it's out of the question. Anything is possible with Bitcoin. Bitcoin in the past has had corrections of 30%. So I wouldn't rule that out, right? 30% would be around 75,000 from the top of 109,000, 108,000, whatever it's been. So that is possible. I'm not going to rule that out. Let's see here. Kimo says, thanks for the streams. I look forward to them. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And let's see, there's a question here. Would you consider covering non-Bitcoin or Bitcoin miners? I have followed you for quite some time, and I know without question you have missed out hundreds of better deals. Time is limited, right? Hopefully you guys know that I work full time and that I do this in my spare time. So I don't have all the time in the world. If I had all the time in the world, yes, I would have been able to find other deals, better deals, maybe. I'm not saying it's there's a small possibility that could have happened. So see, you're absolutely right. I'm not going to argue with you there, right? Currently, from going back to just 2024, the miners that I picked were dog poo-poo, basically. You could say that. They didn't work out as well as I thought they would. That's why I still think that there's some hope in those guys, especially when we go into 2025, where I'm thinking we're going to end up somewhere around 200,000 in Bitcoin. If that's the case, I think the miners will do well going forward here. But we have had shares shorted. We've had hedging against those guys as well. So we will see. Let's see here. Sebastian, why are you so optimistic in general? Haven't you held on to late even last cycle? I can see you giving up your profits expecting a prolonged cycle just like last time. Well, that could be the case. I mean, you really don't know until you're on the other side of it. Based on everything that I'm seeing here, why I'm optimistic is because look at all the states that are looking to do a Bitcoin strategic reserve. Look at all the United States possibly doing it. We now have a crypto czar and AI with David Sachs. I mean, to me, it's a different cycle, right? And I don't think we're through it yet. Now, if it turns out that we got to 109,000, that was the top, okay, yeah, I did the same error that I did last time, thinking that things are going to go up higher. And I'll be the first one to admit that I was wrong. So I'm still willing to bet. And the reason I'm still willing to bet is because I'm still in the green on these miners. If I was in the red, I would be PO'd, I would be upset, and I probably would have sold out by now. But I'm still in the green. Bitfarms I checked today, I was up only 6-7% on it still. Cleanspark's still closer to 100% on that one, and IREN's like 40-some% in the green. So I think that's maybe why I'm still a little bit optimistic on this stuff. But also just believe that all the adoption that's happening here with everything, like I just talked about, countries, companies, everything else, putting Bitcoin on their balance sheets, I think there's a lot more to go. Do Core HODL BTC? They've started to, it looks like. How much exahash and currently an expected exahash for this year have they increased the BTC mined? So they're at 1918 exahash right now. Let me pull that up. Let's see, take a look at CORZ here really quick. CORZ is at 19 exahash right now. We know that they're supposed to be buying miners from Block potentially. I don't know if they ink the deal there or if they just have a agreement there to excuse me, possibly buy. They could get about 15 exahash, but I think a lot of that is going to be used to swap out some of their older machines here, which they have quite a few. Right, I think some of these 98 terahash have been limited down or gotten rid of. They still have 100 terahash miners here as well. I think a lot of these would be the ones that would be on the chopping block to get replaced. So I don't know exactly what their growth would be if they get rid of some of this stuff here. We got, what is that right there? About, what's the exahash here? If we use these guys here, that's roughly 10 exahash. So if they got rid of 10 exahash and added 5 exahash, that would put them to about 24 exahash roughly, is what I figure, something like that, right? So that's kind of what we're seeing there, but they're doing great there. I think the big thing for them is going to be the deal with CoreWeave, which is going to start generating revenue for them here in the beginning of the second half of the year. That's going to be the good catalyst there. I mean, are they undervalued? Yeah, they're still way undervalued for me. Based on the revenues here over the last 12 months plus, including the 500 million, I think it is, per year in HPC business with CoreWeave, I have them between $22 and $33 here right now. With Bitcoin just where it's at, they're at 12. They're undervalued. But the big thing is they do need to replace some of their miners here. We've seen their production and BTC mined has been coming down. The only saving grace for them has been that the Bitcoin price has been going up, so they're actually generating more revenue on that. So could they go a couple, another 6 months, 9 months with the same hash rate that they have? Yeah, Bitcoin generation is going to go down, but as long as Bitcoin goes up to 150,000, 200,000, they're going to continue to generate actually more revenue on that. So that should help out as well. Okay. Hope that kind of helps, at least kind of where I see things. All right. Christian says, tariffs have an impact affecting market sentiment just like DeepSeek. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's going to have an impact because anything that we get from Canada, Mexico, and China is going to be taxed on them, right? So it should then flow down to the end user, which is going to be then paying more for those things as well. Let's see, next week begins Q4 earnings. I don't know who was going to be reporting. I think Hive is going to be reporting like the 11th or the 12th. I don't know if Cleanspark is going to be reporting next week, but if they do, that'd be great. But I haven't seen any kind of release from them yet. Okay. Will Bitfarms improve hash rate this January? Fingers crossed. I'm hoping that's the case. We'll see. Jordan says February should be a huge month. I'm hoping the same thing. All right. Dad's market as stats has a question. Evening Seb question is Ben being the new CEO, the reason Bitfarms is focusing more on U.S. growth as well as HPC AI. Yeah, I believe so. He's putting his own stamp on the company basically and how he wants it to go forward. I think the United States is a good bet, right? It's more friendly than any other country, I think, on Bitcoin miners as well, at least currently. Prior administration, not so much so, but, right, we'll take what we can get. The administration is good. So for the next 4 years, which should be much better for those miners and Bitcoin and everything else, but we'll have to wait and see. Hey Seb, do you know if Cleanspark earnings are 2.6 or 2.13? Also got any guesses as to when shorts will close? I don't know when they're reporting. I haven't seen anything from them released as far as what the date is going to be for releasing their earnings. I don't know that. If I missed it, let me know. I'd love to know. But I haven't seen anything as far as when the shorts are going to start to cover. That I don't know either. I would imagine that if they provide good EPS results, I would think the shorts would then start to cover. I would think. But time will tell on that one. Why do you believe in the miners all these years when you've not outperformed holding Bitcoin in your own portfolio? A good question too there. I guess you could say based on what I witnessed in the prior cycle, as far as some of the miners, and then also in the 2017 cycle, what I witnessed was some much lower number of miners at that point. But I still believe that they're going to do very well here. They have to. Well, they don't have to, I guess. They can be manipulated to all kingdom come. But based on if Bitcoin goes, if you believe in Bitcoin going to 150,000, 200,000, 250,000, whatever it might be, where the top is later on this year, you have to imagine that the miners are going to be generating a heck of a lot more revenue, right? Look at some of the miners now, they're generating, $70, $80 million a month. If Bitcoin doubles, just goes to 200,000, you're looking at some of these guys making 150, 160 million dollars a month. What does that equate to on a 12-month run rate, right? So that's the reason why I still am quite bullish on these things. Maybe to a fault, maybe. Let's see. Jordan says you have outperformed if you bought at the end of 2022. Yeah, December was the bottom, right? If you bought at the bottom, you've outperformed Bitcoin. I started buying in the beginning of 2022, so I had higher prices, but a dollar cost average down, so I'm still in the green. I'm still happy, more or less. Would I have loved to have seen, instead of having a 2x on Cleanspark, would I have loved to have right now a 5x or something like that? Heck yeah. But we're still, I think, in that middle of the cycle right now. We're still not done yet. All right, let's see here. Hey, Seb, it's been a bit. Do you know if Cleanspark will have earnings? Yeah, okay, I already covered yours. Don't know. Let's see. Question: the tariffs being actually implemented rather than a scare tactic is what spooked the market today. Did the BTC just go down because broader market dipped a little? That might have been it too. I think, yeah, Trump came out, what was it, like mid-afternoon or something like that, while the markets were still open, and he talked about that they're going to do that. Maybe he gets some consensus or what is the word? Concessions from China, Canada, and Mexico, and maybe he pulls those down a little bit. We will see. All right, let's see. If there are better miners, if not Bitfarms, what would your next best bang for the buck? I gotta say, Hive is looking interesting, but we'll have to wait and see how that one plays out. I'm still looking to get more into Cleanspark and IREN as well. I think those guys are fabulous operators there. They've met their growth targets, everything else. So those are the ones I'd be looking to. Riot is kind of questionable right now. They've suspended growth in Bitcoin mining. They're looking for HPC AI. Mara has done really good here in the last 2 months, but can they sustain that going forward? That's a big question there. Historically, they've had 1 or 2 good months, and then they operate pretty poorly. So I want to see what happens there. But so that's kind of the ones I'm looking at right now, at least. All right, let's see. Every Day with Kelly says, excuse me, this quarterly report will be better. Bitcoin prices is higher, but share-based compensation will just be as high as, so EPS will be the same with more shares diluted. Maybe so, right? So yeah, that's one of the big questions that I have is how much will we get in share-based compensation? For a lot of these guys, it's going to be the end of the year, so they might throw a lot of stuff into it. But some of these guys like Hive and Cleanspark, it's just their quarterly results. They really shouldn't be putting in too much of that crap in there. And then depreciation, how much they depreciate on it. But even with that, for like Cleanspark, Hive, Cleanspark, Riot, Marathon, and who else has a huge HUT? Those guys have a huge huddle position there. With the FSB rules, that should bring their EPSs up, even if they put in a bunch of crap in there like that. Let's see. Karan says, Seb, I think Bitfarms, Cleanspark, Riot, Mara, and Hive, they will all have their run. They are almost down about the same percentage from the all-time high. Okay. You might be right there. What else? Andre, question: how is Bitfarms going to grow exahash when they just sold off Paraguay? Didn't Paraguay have a couple exahash running? They haven't had it running yet. They were building it out. So it looks like the first phase of the site was going to be done here in April. And then the other phase 2, was going to be done in August. So those weren't running there. That's why they were talking about putting the exahash into Stronghold, 20,000 machines there, but they didn't really, what happened there? Did they get stuck in customs? We really don't know. Okay. Let's see. Do you know February being a good month for miners as they report earnings using FASB rules? I think it should be. We'll wait and see, unfortunately. Victor says, thanks for answering all my questions. Yeah, you're very welcome. Thanks for coming in here on a Friday night. You guys should be out partying and enjoying and everything else. So thanks for your great analysis and putting yourself out there to be attacked by random people on the internet. It goes with the territory, right? So I completely understand that. My estimates, projections, my thoughts did not work out the way they did. Do they always work out that way in life? No, they never work out that way, right? You're going to get some home runs and you're going to get a couple of singles. So that's life in it, and I understand that, and I don't take that criticism too hard or anything like that. I understand the criticism, yeah. Let's see what else we got here. Do you think the miners will reach the all-time highs or previous all-time highs? What's the next catalyst to launch the miners to the moon? I think it's going to be the quarterly results for some of these guys, potentially. All right, so we have another couple more weeks. We'll find out if that's actually the case. Christian says, you are supposed to sell in the green, not in the red. Yes, you're absolutely right. I'm still in the green, so that's why I haven't sold yet. I'm waiting for the red, I guess. Let's see. What do you expect to be announced for the Cleanspark's earnings? My estimate on them, and it's a rough estimate here. Let me take a look at it. I'll pull this up for you guys here based on just what I'm seeing here. Where's the EPS chart that I have here? Okay, so I think I've shown this to you guys a couple times already. But for Cleanspark, based on where their HODL started, and this is based on September BTC average price at the end, and then December was the BTC average price for this, excuse me, December. They should have on their balance sheet about 491 million from the FSB gains, basically. That should translate to approximately $1.79, not including depreciation. I don't know what depreciation is going to be like. Plus, I don't know exactly what they're going to put in for share-based compensation. But if you take that out, and I don't know where their share count is going to be exactly yet, but I'm in between $1.79 and $1.61. Somewhere around there is where I'm guessing, might be a little bit north of that or south of that as well, but somewhere around there. Whereas some of the analysts have them actually, or analysts' consensus right now is both for Mara and Cleanspark, they're going to have a negative EPS. I'm like, okay, that just doesn't make any sense to me. That's just crazy. That's ludicrous. Why would you have put that down knowing that Bitcoin price has increased tremendously in the fourth quarter here? So that's kind of where I'm looking at right now on things. We'll see how far away I am on some of these targets here. And that was based on Q3 results, extrapolating the data into Q4 numbers as far as what they mine and things like that. So that's kind of what I'm looking at there. Okay. It's not going to be exact, but we'll see how close we can get to it. All right. Let's see. Christian has a question here. Why do you conflate Bitcoin adoption with miner price? Well, Bitcoin price goes up, right? Because of adoption, price goes up, miner prices should go up as well. Evidence of Cleanspark says the price was 15 last year, this time with BTC at 40,000, now BTC is 102,000. Yes, but you're forgetting that we had a halving event where their revenue got whacked overnight. You're done, right? If you're making $15 million a month, you're now making $25 million a month. That's a huge cut. Any place that does, I mean, there's no other industry that happens to. Well, maybe the oil industry. I mean, at one point, the oil industry was actually negative on barrels of oil, right? But for the most part, this is the only industry that this happens. Every 4 years, your revenue gets cut in half. Sayonara, do your best. So that's, I think, the reason why. Yes, they were up at $24 at one point in, what was it, February, I think it was, or March, before the halving event. And then after the halving event, they went down. They went back up to like $20 or $18, whatever it was, came back down, and yeah. But a lot of miners do the same thing. So let's see. Graphene did $8, 52 weeks high. Do you think it can do the same? Graphene, I don't track them as close as I do with the other miners. Graphene also I know is much, much smaller right now. I read someplace today that they're talking about having like 4 point something gigawatts of pipeline potentially. I'm like, where are they getting that? So that's kind of interesting there. They also, yeah, I just don't know on that one. Let's see. Orkun says 50 million is likely a monthly revenue for most of these big miners with BTC at 100,000. Why do you think people run Cypher up so much thinking the size of this investment? Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just you get the name SoftBank, right? Investing in your company. It's just going to drive eyeballs to the stock. People are going to buy it. That's basically it. It's that's the only thing I can think of because, yeah, 50 million investment in them. They got shares out of it, right? 10 million shares, whatever it was. But what can you get for the $50 million? Not much. If you're building out a data center, you're talking about $8 to $12 million per megawatt. So let's just say it's on average 10 million. That's 5 megawatts. That's not much. So yeah, but sometimes it's just based on who's actually investing in you, right? All right. So if at least one miner shows an impressive EPS, can this be the catalyst for the other miners miners to finally start going up? Thanks. It might be. That I don't know. I know that sometimes they do run individually. We saw that a little bit with Cleanspark and IREN and things like that, and others as well. Depending on the news that came out for those guys, they would run by themselves without, taking their peers up as well. I think if we're looking to have everybody run at the same time, we need Bitcoin to go up in value more so. When Bitfarms goes under $1, they will reverse split, right? Not really. Ben has said that they're not looking to do a reverse split. I don't like reverse splits anyways. That would drive the price down even more. Do you think Bitfarms will sell? I don't think they will sell. I think they're still trying to do their own path in life, in history. And they also have a much better board here. I think Ben is trying to do the best that he can with what he has, right? So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. Chris says, yeah, but dilution, they all dilute. And recently we've been seeing these guys getting the convertible notes. Is that a better way to go? Maybe. I mean, you're pushing dilution out further out, but if the stock goes up more so later on, could you also, Bitcoin goes up in value. What if Bitcoin goes through a multi-year bull cycle? Right? That could help out there as well. Everybody's thinking that there's going to be another cycle where we've had in the past where Bitcoin goes up to 180,000, 200,000, whatever it might be. That's the top. And then we spend the next 2 years going into a bear market. What if we don't get that? And the reason I say that, what if we don't get that, is because of all the adoption happening. If you get countries putting it on their Bitcoin reserve, states, pension funds, companies, you name it, everybody else and their uncle, excuse me, that should hold up the price of Bitcoin. So maybe we don't have that 70% drawdown like we have in the past. So that's kind of why. And then, yeah, so if they triple shares and double revenue, but what if revenue double? What if revenue goes like 4x, 5x, and only double shares, right? So it's a big unknown that we just don't know. Let's see. Question: how does Ben's mining experience translate to HPC AI? It's two different. I will say it's two different. How do I put this? Two different breeds, I guess you could say, right? HPC AI is much more complicated than Bitcoin mining. Bitcoin mining is put up a shed, whatever you want to do, plug the miners in, get an internet connection to those things, and you're up and running, more or less, right? That's not that megawatts, you need megawatts, and that's about it. With tier 3 data centers for HPC AI, now you're looking at redundancies in internet, in electricity, and other things as well, services, but you're looking at servers. It's just a different breed altogether. So it doesn't translate completely into it. That's why I think he's looking for consultants and things like that to help out and push them in the right direction potentially for that. But being that Ben's a smart guy. I'm not gonna take anything away from him. He's a smart guy. He's well educated. I will say that. He's been in China and other places, so he's been around the block. I'm not going to take that away from him, but it is a different breed altogether. And it's the same thing for any of these guys. None of these guys here in the mining space, any of these CEOs, have had anything to do with HPC AI, right? They're all kind of dipping their little toe in the water, seeing how things are going, and doing these little pilot programs to learn from it, because they just don't have the experience. Or you can hire somebody on that has experience on it that way as well. See. I have Red platform. I think you mean Riot platforms. I have Riot platforms like Binance and Coinbase use news like last night's Trump announcement and roll BTC down to liquidation points and pump back. How is this legal? That I don't know. I honestly don't know. Yeah, there's some shenanigans going on in the markets, that's for sure. All right, let's see here. What's behind Bitfarms selling the Paraguay site? Do you think something wrong with it? I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think they're just changing their trajectory, their North Star, maybe you could say. Where do they want to actually operate in and things like that. That was, a lot of it was done before Ben took over as CEO. That was through the prior board members there as well. I think they pushed a lot of it towards that area. So I think they're just correcting the ship, maybe. We'll see. All right, let's see. Question. I'm worried that the ATM announcements stalled all the progress IREN was making in the price appreciation. Are you worried at all that they may not have enough time to run up with Bitcoin? Depending how much they pull on the ATM, that having an ATM is never good, right? We've seen it with Cleanspark, we've seen it with others as well. Whenever they're announcing an ATM, it's kind of like a break and a foot on brake, basically. It just halts the price appreciation on the stock to a certain degree. The big thing is how much will they actually dilute? I mean, they have 440 million that they got from the convertible notes, so that should give them I wish they would have waited to announce this. I don't think the timing was the best right now, unless they actually are close to getting like an HPCI deal with somebody and they needed to provide that assurance to that customer there that they actually have the funding to grow or build out a data center or something like that, right? So that's the only reason I think they might have done that. But I agree with you. The ATM is never a good thing. I think them continuing to operate and execute, and if they can get an HPCI deal, I think that's going to be overlooked. But we'll see. Let's see here. There we go. Do you have early retirement plans? How much capital do you think a single man would aim for at age 45 and living in Asia, maybe? Well, I don't know what the living standards are like in Asia and what the cost is on that. So if you're talking about US dollars, could you get away with maybe having $1 million and you could retire on that? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what the costs are on that, unfortunately. Here in the United States, if I was to try to retire right now, oh my gosh, I'd probably need several $1 million. My life expectancy is to be like 70 some odd years old. That would mean I still have about roughly 30 some odd years to grow, roughly 25, 30 years left in my lifespan. I would need several $1 million to be able to manage that. But I do not see myself retiring anytime soon. That would be, I would get bored so easily. Oh my gosh, I'd go crazy. I need to do something. I love working. I love learning. I'm not going to stop this anytime soon. Let's see. Well, see, as a question here, more of a comment, I think. Seb, listen, your viewers are not new. Most been following you for quite some time. Can you please stop gaslighting? We are not stupid. We know what having is. It was priced in. Was it priced in before then, or was it priced in afterwards? Right? If you know what's going on here, there's other shows you can watch. I mean, nobody's forcing you to come in here, but I greatly appreciate you coming in here, as always. We may disagree on things a little bit here, but that's okay. And it's not gaslighting. It's just giving you guys my opinion, right? I always tell you guys this is not financial advice. Do your own research on all this stuff. This is what I'm seeing. Could I make a mistake? Yes. I'm okay with me making a mistake. I don't want you guys to make the same mistakes that I make. I want you guys to do better than me, actually. So take that for what it's worth. But never me trying to gaslight you guys. It's just what I think and what I'm doing, and I'm pretty open about it as far as how I'm doing. All right, let's see what else we got here. Talked about that. See if there's any questions. All right, we got a question here. Road schooling across America. Wasn't Cleanspark going to buy back shares? Do you know when? Yes, they did buy back. What was it 11 million shares, something like that? When they got the convertible notes, they did buy back like 11 million shares. And yeah, so I think that has already happened. All right. Adding to the comment of C, what are your price targets based on? I mean, calculation of the financials, yes, but then do you compare those numbers with other tech stocks and assign a PE as tech stocks? I'm actually kind of low on the PE side of things. I go from like 15 to 20 to 10, something like that, nothing major. The miners last cycle, some of them were like at 40 PE, right at the top, at the peak. So I'm being a little bit more conservative than that, I guess you could say. So I'm trying to be conservative. Maybe I'm not conservative enough. Maybe should I bring those down to like 15 and 10 maybe at the most? I don't know. I'm going by what I saw last cycle. I'm trying to keep it conservative there as well. Let's see, talked about that. Let's see. What are the top 5 most efficient miners? I think that is Hive, Cleanspark, IREN, Bitfarms as well in there. Mawson here recently in the last 2 months has also been, so I think those are like the top 5 there right now. Let's see. Charlie says, thanks for answering my questions. I missed these chats. Has any BTC miner ever reduced authorized shares in the earnings call? I tweeted the idea to Cleanspark thinking it might induce shorts to cover. Reduce the authorized number of shares? No, I haven't seen that here. Maybe there was a one-off miner that might have done it, but probably was smaller. The only thing I've seen here is Hive actually has done a reverse split this cycle, before this cycle, in like 2022, 2023 or something like that. They did a reverse split. Everybody else has been using the ATMs, so no, we haven't really seen that. All right. Seb, do you think we are already on an extended cycle? Miners are not the only ones lagging behind. Ethereum and altcoins in general are as well. Well, okay. So let's talk about the altcoins and things like that. I think that is a good sign for Bitcoin because that means more people are paying attention to Bitcoin, I think, because of everything that's going on here, the adoption and everything else. So I don't think we're going to have a great altcoin season. I think a lot of the money is going to be flowing into Bitcoin, MicroStrategy, other companies that are getting into it, HPC AI, as well as possibly the miners if they report good, especially if they're making really good money and have really good profit margins. I think that's where things are going to be flowing in here. I mean, altcoins, they're altcoins. I mean, you can call them poop coins or the S word, whatever you want to call them. A lot of them don't have any utility. The ones that do have utility, I think are going to be okay. They'll do well. Will they outperform Bitcoin? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But a lot of this stuff is out there is crap. I don't even pay attention to it. It's just nonsense out there. It's just a lot of rug pulls, unfortunately. So be careful what you get into in there on that one. Let's see. Question. Today was rough, Seb. Any hope for February? Well, today was a little rough. It wasn't that bad. I mean, miners were down 3-4%. It wasn't too bad. End of the month, okay, option expiry. President Trump also said something about tariffs, right? That kind of hit a little bit late in the afternoon, but nonetheless it hit. I think February historically has been a much better month. We've only had 2 years in February where it was red. Other than that, we've had 10 years where it was in the green. So I'm optimistically happy that we might actually have another great green month here in February, but we'll see. Let's see, Kevin says, I'm up so much. I've been with Seb for a long time. Sorry, baby Christian, crying because he lost. I appreciate that, Kevin. Yeah, Kevin's been with me for quite a while. Right, depends on when you get into them also. If you got into them in the peak, yeah, you're not going to be happy right now. But just be patient, I think. They'll do great. Jordan says, we entered an extended cycle when BTC hit a new all-time high pre-halving. That was odd, yes. That's what got me thinking, are we in a different cycle altogether? But I think that was driven also by the ETFs, right? So could that be, that goes back to the gold thing. Gold, when gold got ETFs, what happened there for the next several years? Extended cycle, right? Things were going to the upside every year for a couple of years. So we could be in the same kind of situation here. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know for a fact it's going to be the case. I don't know if we're going to have a similar cycle like we had in the past. I don't know. I wish I did know, but I do not know. Let's see. You seem to discount the amount of value market will give miners to swapping into higher consistent revenue from AI as opposed to speculating on BTC miners who don't swap will be left in the dust. Maybe, but here's the thing. If HPC AI becomes commoditized, right, where it basically the revenues on that will continue to go down because everybody's doing it. And the reason I say that is because look at website hosting. This is just a great example there. As that has gotten commoditized over time, going back 15, 20 years ago, you were paying $50 to $100 to host a website. Now you're paying $1 to $2, right? It's gotten down because everybody's doing it. But still you're getting more revenue out of it. But with the miners also, they are more or less, how do I put it? They're just the backbone of HPCI, meaning that they provide electricity, security, things like that, redundancy, right? They provide that. Whereas some of the companies that are doing the HPCI are providing other services. Amazon does web hosting, they do data storage, all that other stuff, services they add on top of it. That's where the real money is. So that's why you're seeing Amazon, Google, Microsoft making billions of dollars a year from those types of things, AWS and everything else. So I would just say it's good business for them, but at certain points, depending where Bitcoin goes, and Bitcoin goes into an extended cycle, you might be able to get, more revenue out of Bitcoin than you would out of HPCI, potentially. I'm not saying that's going to be the case, but I'm saying potentially that's possible. Okay. Let's see. Kaz says, question, so ignore the haters. Your show is the most informative one on the platform by far. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Kevin, thanks you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. Let's see what else we have. No more, let's see. No more bullying, Seb, has helped me a lot. It's not bullying. It's just, I think it's a constructive criticism, and I'll take it, right? I'm not above that at all. Anytime we can have a good conversation, whether I'm right or wrong, I'll take it. I enjoy a good conversation. What is your price for target for IREN and Cleanspark this year, assuming BTC is at 120? No, that's not too far from where we are right now. So it's only 20% roughly gains on it. Where could they be? I mean, if they provide good EPS numbers, that could pump them up more. But I mean, if we're looking at the average 2 to 3x on top of Bitcoin, so that would get them maybe up another 40% from where they are right now, maybe something like that. 20, 40%, I would say. Okay, let's see. Jordan says this is likely the last cycle you will be able to make money off these names, though. Geez, if it's an extended cycle, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, you might be right. Let's see. Charlie says TeraWolf is the only one who is reducing shares. Not only one. IREN, I think, reduced a little bit. Didn't they buy back some shares also? Who was it also there? Hut 8, I think, has done it also with the convertible notes, and Cleanspark has done it also. Let's see here. Chow says, Seb, I always enjoy and learn with all your data. The cycle is being hard for us all. It has. It's been a little different. Thanks for everything. You're very welcome. Thanks for being here. I greatly appreciate it. Let's see. Hi, Seb. It's my birthday today. I hope it's the start of a lucrative month for us all. Nice. Happy birthday to you there. Hope you have a wonderful birthday. Get all your wishes and everything else. What else here? Okay, let's see if we got any questions. Let's look at Ed has a question here. Seb, could you see if he knows the way out of here, out of the miners? Sell them. That's the way out. Sell them and forget about my guess. What else do we have here? The question: Trump is now doing his tariff thing with Mexico. Yeah, he's doing it. They're supposed to start tomorrow, I believe. 25% for Mexico and Canada, and 10% for China. Let's see. Is Bitfarms at a low now? It's definitely at a low from where it's at, but it's come up a little bit here. It's not completely at the low end side of things. Actually, 145 might be low. No, it was lower. It was $1.36 was the low on it. So can it get lower? I mean, if they continue to stumble and things like that, if they don't provide any good numbers for January where their hash rate actually grew, you can see it on here, they might stumble some more here, unfortunately. But that's definitely getting down to my average price on them, which I think my average is like $1.30 something on them. So I'm still up a little bit, just a little bit on that one. That one was a tough one. Okay, let's go back here, see what else other questions we have here. We'll finish this up here. Christian, wow, thank you so much. $50 for the super chat, I guess, or sticker. Giant peer character waving flags and turning around, making the buildings in the front of the... Right. I did not expect that from you, Christian. I appreciate that. Thank you. Even though we can disagree, you're still supporting me, so I appreciate that. Thank you. What else we got here? With all the news, with all the new adoption, what would cause the huge bear market of Bitcoin at the end of the cycle? Well, there might not be one. We might go into an extended cycle. That's why I'm saying it's different all around this time around. But you just never know with Bitcoin. Anything is possible with it. All right, let's see. Charlie asks here, I think, is there a world that beating EPS still isn't enough to get miners to go up in this month? And why would that possibly be? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, usually good EPSs are the catalyst to drive stocks up. So that's kind of what I'm expecting there. Trying to consider what the shorters are thinking since analysts seem off. Yeah, I don't know, Charlie. I wish I knew. I don't know who the shorts are. I'm guessing it's the institutions. They're hedging their bets a little bit there, but I think eventually they'll let them run. I think February is going to be a good tell there. If we get like Cleanspark reporting early in the month and somebody else that has a huge hodl position and those things take off, I think that might be a good catalyst there to say, okay, some of the shorts might be actually swapping out there a little bit, but we'll see. All right, let's see. Trump is doing tariff tactics with Mexico and Canada, China, and EU. DXY goes up, inflation goes up, rates don't get cut, possibly hiked. Trump trying to get BTC lower or just not care. Well, I think he's trying to get some things, some consensus or concessions out of those countries. He's trying to get Mexico to secure their border, right, so that we don't have illegals going into the United States, along with like fentanyl, drugs, and things like that, right? With Canada, I think it's the same thing. He's trying to get them to secure the northern border here in the United States. And if he sees that, then, you know, if they're doing an effort at least, then he might lower those things. But I think it's just a negotiations tactic right now. I mean, because you look at China, China's only 10%. Why isn't he not giving China 25%? But then he can get a lot of stuff from China too, so maybe that's why. But I think it's just a negotiation tactic there. Okay. Let's see. Do you think Trump will release any news that will support BTC miners? I don't think so, no. In July, he said he wanted BTC made in America, but it's been crickets so far. Yeah, I don't think that there's much he can do for the miners. At least not right now. I don't think they can do anything forward. Because you don't want to single out one industry against another industry. So if you give them tax cuts on electricity or something like that, well, it's not fair to everybody else that's using electricity as well. And these guys are getting pretty good deals on electricity as it is right now. All right. Question, why would the banks buy Bitcoin at face value rather than invest in mining and get it at a discount? Well, there's time you have to consider. If you invest in mining, unless you invest like the Bitcoin miners, you could do that as well, right? But if you're looking to invest in actual mining infrastructure where you're building it out and everything else, that takes time. You need megawatts. I mean, you're looking out, maybe if you're lucky, you could probably build out within a year. Otherwise, you're looking at about 2 years, depending on approvals and everything else. So it's time to market and everything else. So you might be better off just buying Bitcoin if you think Bitcoin's going to go up 100%, 150%, 200%, whatever it's going to go. So that's kind of why I think they won't get into it. Let's see. The last question. Do you see IREN and Cleanspark going to 20? Oh, yeah. Bitcoin goes up to 200,000. Yeah, I think they're going up there. Let's see. Any thoughts on Trump coin or what will come of tokenizing celebrities? I'm not a big fan of that. I mean, if there's no utility on that, it's just basically you're buying the name there. That's all you're getting. I think you probably would have been better off getting like the, gosh, what were those things? Last cycle we had those, the digital little art things, like the, what was it, the chimpunks or something like that, monkey punks, chimpunks, whatever the heck those things were. Not the ETFs, it was the, gosh, I'm trying to blank on that, what that was called. Fungible tokens, fungible token, some FTC, I can't remember now. Something like that, but it's the same thing like that. If there's no utility to it, what's the point? It's just you're going on name recognition there. I'm not a big fan of that. See, Jordan says, reminds me of the dude that was here when he was telling everybody to buy MicroStrategy at 500. Haven't seen him since. MicroStrategy has had a sizable correction. And at that point, I was telling, or at least I was saying, I thought it was a little overheated compared to Bitcoin and everything else, and it did come down. Right. Let's see. What is the future of DMG? Small miner, they have a lot of different software things happening as well. How high can it go given BTC at 125,000? Is it the only miner that has gone down in value? They're not the only one. Bitfarms has gone down in value. Others as well have done so. 125,000. Where's DMG right now? DMG smaller miner is at, where is it at? 26 cents. Yeah, I mean that thing has, well, it's bounced off the bottom here at 20 cents. So at least it's looking a little bit better there. But yeah, they're a small miner. Yeah, I'm not sure how they're going to do going forward. I know they're trying to get to like 2 exahash, I think, is their target right now. But I haven't checked up on them here probably a month or so. So I'm not sure where they're at currently. All right. Let's see. All right, let's see. Ed says, Anthony and Bryce are hosting Ben in a couple days. I really hope Ben would provide some interesting information. I hope so too. But he's been also a little reserved as far as, what's going on with the hash rate growth and things like that. But I agree. It would be nice to get some more insight into what's going on there. All right, let's see here. And how about your favorite miner, Annie? Have we heard anything from Annie new recently here? Last report that I saw from them was back in August for their August production. After that, it's been kind of quiet on their operations side of things. So I have no idea how they're doing. But that was one of the ones that I had on my list that would possibly go out of business there. Let's see here. I have Cleanspark and Bitfarms. I hope they both rocket this month. I think Cleanspark might have a much higher chance than that than Bitfarms. We'll see what Bitfarms does as far as quarterly results, their annual results as well, and how their growth is for January. Let's see here. Ben's been a letdown. I'd say give him a little bit more time. He's only been in the job for what now, 6, 7 months or something like that. You got to give him a little time to turn the ship around. So I would say after maybe not even after the first year, I'd say maybe after the second year, if things are not looking better there, then you might be looking for somebody else. But I would give him a little bit more time. It's tough to turn such a big company around. Let's see here. Jordan says Bitfarms was fine until they decided to randomly fire the CEO and then go on to miss every growth targets after that. Well, we don't know if everything was fine there, right? And why was he fired? Was he fired because of the incapable board members there, possibly? So it was a lot of problems from the board down, I think, and things have changed around here. And things that they were possibly targeting, they thought they could possibly get it, but they didn't. I'm giving them a little benefit of doubt there. I think we need to give Ben a little bit more time. All right. Why do you think Bitfarms has far more analyst ratings than pretty much all other miners? They have 12 ratings. I think it's because of their megawatt potential pipeline, more or less, portfolio. Then you have them also doing the ASIC miners. They're building themselves. And then just the growth potential there as well. But why do they have more than 12? Yeah, I don't know. Are they paid analysts? I don't know. That I do not know. I'm not saying that's the case, but they are, what are they? They're not Chinese, they're a Singapore, I think, company. But yeah, I just do not know on that one. You would think that some of the other ones like Mara and Riot and Cleanspark would have more. But let's see, do I have that? I do not have my application up and running. Let me see here. BitDeer, where's BitDeer? BitDeer. Let me see, where is they at? There they are. Analysts. Yeah, they had 12 analysts. Let's see if I want to put this up here. Yeah, I can put this up here. I can show this to you guys here. There's BitDeer. Bitfarms has got 8 analysts. BitDigital's got 5. Cypher's got 10. Cleanspark's got only 8. Okay, CORZ is at 15, so CORZ actually has more than BitDeer. Hive has got 7. Hut 8 has got 9. IREN's got 12, so the same as BitDeer there. 14 for Mara. 16 for Riot. Wow, 16. So Riot actually has more right now, and then Wolf has 9. So they're not the ones with the highest amount, but they are definitely up there. I think the ones that have the HPC potential are getting a little bit more analyst attraction than some of the other ones. NFTs, Charlie, thank you so much. Yeah, non-fungible tokens. I knew it was something, fungible token something. So appreciate that. Let's see, have you seen the war between Bitcoin and XRP on the Twitter recently? I've seen that. Yeah, I'm not too thrilled about XRP. I mean, I'm still questioning the use case for XRP. Okay, XRP wants to be cross-border payments, take on SWIFT. All right, what's stopping the banks to do their own thing? I mean, there's really no moat around XRP that others can't emulate, I guess you could say. Why IREN and Cleanspark at 20 only at BTC 200? Shouldn't it be when BTC is around 120, as they were already up around that level when BTC was 60? Well, I think they're going to be much higher than $20 and BTC at 200,000, right? I'm just saying that right now Bitcoin goes only up to 220,000, that's only 20% growth for Bitcoin. Could they see 40% growth? Yeah, so that gets them close to it, right? But it's not going to be maybe the 20. I mean, Cleanspark's at $10, so 40% growth, that gives them $14. IREN, see, it's popping up here on the chart. Hut 8, come on, scroll faster. What do we got? Hut 8 is at 21. IREN, there it goes. IREN is at 10. So again, that'd be around $14, right? If it goes at least 2x on top of what Bitcoin does. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. Could they go higher? Yes, they could definitely go higher. All right. Okay, let's see here. Question: Bitfarms board members all buying small amounts of informative buy earlier this month. A coordinated effort to send a message. Maybe, yeah. Ben bought. Some other have bought as well. I think they believe that their stock is just way undervalued from where it should be. I agree with that as well. All right, let's see here. 58% of the miners are in China as of now. No. I don't buy that for 1 minute. I don't see the U.S. government going all out on Bitcoin as a reserve, just for the fact China has more in Bitcoin holdings. Yeah, I don't know where you're getting your data from, but I think that's misinformed there. Okay, what else do we have here? All right, Seb, great new Q&A screen. Keep up the excellent work. Thank you very much. I know it's been on for a while. It's just been an age that I've been able to attend a live session. Okay, nice. Thank you so much. All right, I think we've pretty much all cut up here as far as what we've got going on. Yeah, I think we're cut up to all the questions. So we got a couple more coming in here from YOLO Gambler. Let me see until that pulls up here on my little chart or my little screen here. There's always a delay. Okay. Let's see, we got one from Charlie and one from YOLO. What's the most you've seen a stock go up after earnings? Cleanspark, IREN, Bitfarms. Oh gosh, some of these guys have gone up 15, 20%, 35%, 25, yeah, 30% sometimes even. So that is possible here. And then said most Bitfarms board members bought very small amounts. Is that miss? Well, they're buying at least, right? I mean, not a lot of these guys are buying outside of it. So you're saying it's a misdirection? I don't think it's a misdirection, no. On that, Ben bought over 100,000 shares, right? That's not short change there. Seb, do you ever swing trade or day trade the miners? They have pretty common movements. I've seen that, yeah, but I don't. And the reason I don't, to be honest with you guys, is I don't have the time. I'm at work, so it's tough for me to swing trade these things, to keep an eye on them, see where things are going. And I've had well, I wouldn't say it's a horrible experience, but I've had a bit of experience trying to swing trade Bitcoin back in 2017, 2018, where I would have actually had more Bitcoin now than I do as a result of that. So my swing trading days are over based on that. All right. That is it. We'll call it a day here. We're going on probably over an hour now as it is anyways. Let's see, where am I at? Over here. So we'll see what happens over the weekend. Not much should happen. Bitcoin, I'm hoping, just goes sideways for the weekend. We'll cover the miners versus Bitcoin this past week on Sunday. And then we'll get back in the swing of things on Monday, where we have Bitfarms probably reporting, somebody else reporting as well at that point. So, yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful and safe weekend. Go out and touch some grass, enjoy it. Hopefully, if the weather is nice for you guys, as always. But thank you so much for coming in. Love you all. I will see you guys on Sunday.